we need to reach 20 crore doses a month.
आंदोलन अभी क्यों जारी ना रहे ये बताओ?
What preparations have you made at the back end to be able to ramp up your vaccine production?
Bharat has not one but 3 established manufacturing facilities. Our take at this point of time, given the 3 facilities which are under the control of Bharat Biotech today, we have close to achieving at least 1 billion doses of vaccines for the year to come. Yeah.
It's good that you're thinking of ramping up at this scale, but what all could go wrong?
These are existing facilities where we have deployed them for production of other viral vaccines. So these are not something that is completely different or out of line with what Bharat and the other sister concern have been deployed for the last 10-15 years. We've been doing this consistently.
Everyone wants vaccines to be produced at huge scale. And we know that right now we don't have the global scale required to provide global equity to all these vaccines. I don't think the lay person or the politicians or the policy makers realize what biological processes are all about, what technology transfers are all about, and how long it takes to start from lab to scale up.
We could have ramped up earlier, we could have placed orders earlier, we could have got vaccines earlier, we should have overcome vaccine hesitancy earlier, but that's the wisdom of hindsight. I think having said that, I think we should focus on moving faster going forward, making sure that more and more people are vaccinated before you have a wave 3, and certainly plan for a wave 3 in many different ways, because issues could be very different at that point in time.
If we reach a critical mass, and the critical mass has 2 components. One is those people who have already been infected and developed some immunity. The other, in addition to that, are people who have been vaccinated. If you aggregate all of them, and we reach about 70%, 80% of our population is protected, then the rest of the 20% become, by all calculations, like what we call herd immunity or the natural shield. Then we are now in a very comfortable stage, and it doesn't matter if the rest of the 20 crore people will be vaccinated by November, December.
How does one avoid negative feelings when you are a COVID-19 positive patient? How do you come out of anxiety?
There is only one thing that can be done, which is don't label it, don't think that it's a mountain. It's a reaction, a natural reaction. It will pass. Once things settle, more importantly, support systems count. This is not about a disease.
Right.
If you have anxiety because you have COVID or somebody in your family has COVID, and if you are feeling restless, anxious, worried, sleepless, you don't need to pop in a pill. You don't need counseling. You don't need to go to an expert. You talk to a friend. You take care of yourself. Be patient. Let the doctors do their job and wait it out. That's the way to look at it.
Should COVID patients stay away from news?
When you're going through COVID, I think it's better to stay away from negative news. Okay, you may want to be in touch with the world, but it takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day, in the morning or the evening to catch up with the news. There's no point in hearing how many deaths have happened, how many oxygen, or where oxygen was not available. Because all that, and if you keep looking at the figures of COVID, in your head, especially because you're alone, you're isolated, you might keep thinking that you will become one of those figures.
How do I deal with the grief that people around me have passed away? Could I have done more to save my father, my mother, my friend?
The usual normal feeling that people have while grieving about could I have done more, did I do enough, survival guilt, in this period is much more by reality and by the onslaught of negative reports. And so for all such grief reactions, deal with it as normally as you can. Level 1, depend on oneself. Level 2, depend on friends and family. Level 3, try and seek informal support. Only at level 4, seek professional help.
What is the 101 for dealing with a panic attack?
So if you're talking about a person, a young person, let's say, living alone, cut off from the family completely, it is important for them to compartmentalize the day. Perhaps take worry breaks, 2 or 3 in a day. And during those worry breaks, COVID worry breaks, you confront the realities of what is happening outside, connect with the family and see who's ill and who's not, perhaps even look at the statistics of death, etc. But when that period is over, which could be 45 minutes to an hour, 3 times in a day, shut it and say to yourself, not now. And then look at other things that you can tick in your box. What gives you happiness and joy? What brings back some of the meaning that you had in your life?
आखिर क्यों कोरोना काल के बीचों बीच ये आंदोलन जारी रहे?
अभी क्यों जारी ना हो? अभी लोग खेती नहीं कर रहे, नौकरी नहीं कर रहे, गाड़ियां नहीं चल रही, ऑफिस नहीं चल रहे, खाना नहीं खा रहे, हम खेत में काम नहीं कर रहे, तो आंदोलन अभी क्यों जारी ना रहे, ये बताओ।
ठीक, तो मतलब आप ये कह रहे हैं कि लोग खाना खा रहे हैं, नौकरी कर रहे हैं, वो तो मजबूरी है। क्या ये आंदोलन चलना इस समय मजबूरी है?
ये किस्म से गांव हैं, ये किस्म से कॉलोनियां हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि ये कोरोना का उद्गम स्थानीय आंदोलन है, वो नहीं है। ये एलिगेशन लगाने बंद करे सरकार, इससे ना किसान हताश होगा और ना किसान आंदोलन स्थल छोड़कर जाएगा।
How unreasonable this is, how irrational this is, and how silly the behavior is. We are passing through an unprecedented phase, and life is always more important than livelihood. And we are aware of the fact that, you know, there is a surge of cases in the rural areas of Punjab and Haryana. Reports are coming to us every day. The positivity rate in Punjab is around 14.27%, and that of Haryana is around 11%. This is very high when we compare it with Delhi, which is less than 5% today. So I think when the situation is such, the likes of ticket must call off the stir.
इस पूरे देश में जो कोरोना फैल रहा है वो सरकार की वजह से फैल रहा है। इनको तत्काल प्रभाव से इस्तीफा दे देना चाहिए। जब इनके बस की काम करना नहीं है, दूसरे के कंधे में रखकर बंदूक क्यों चलाते हैं? अरे जब आप लोग हॉस्पिटल नहीं बना पाए, ऑक्सीजन नहीं उपलब्ध करवा पा रहे, ताली और थाली बजवा रहे थे, मोमबत्ती जलवा रहे थे, तब वेंटिलेटर खरीद लेते।
जहां भी इकट्ठे लोग होंगे और ऐसे अगर लोग मिल रहे हैं तो एक से दूसरे में फैलेगा। और जहां तक पहला वेव था और ये वेव आया है, इसमें फर्क है। इस वेव में जो पंजाब में फैला है वो यूके वाला वायरस है। हो सकता है जो महाराष्ट्र में पाया गया वो वायरस भी यहाँ पे है, तो ये ज्यादा इन्फेक्शियस है।